We will call to order today's what is it, August 5th, 2025 Sidewalk Ad Hoc Committee. And we'll start with public comment. So if there's anybody online that would like to make public comment, please use the Zoom function to raise your hand and we will get it going. So we have I Krell with the hand raised. So please feel free to talk. I don't know, guys, is there anything that has to happen to unmute them?
Yep, they'll just have to unmute themselves. You should get an alert for that. I can ask you to unmute again, and then you should be good.
Just name and.
So the person with their hand raised, I believe it's Iris Krell, I think. There should be a little function there to unmute yourself, and then you can begin speaking.
All right. It's actually her husband. Can you hear me?
Yep, no problem.
Yes. I just had a question, one question to start, and then I'll continue.
I'm sorry. Can we just have you state your name and address before we?
Okay. I live at 155 Judson Lane. I own a property also at 373 Meadow Road. So I own two properties here. One is 5.7 something acres and one is 0.98 acres. Both are affected by this project. I wanted to know if there has been a map submitted to the town clerk yet of this project.
No, there has not.
There has not. Okay. The other thing is I wanted to ask that it goes on record that we're deciding about safety for a road, but we're not making it a safe road. It should be shared by pedestrians and bicyclists on the road, and it's not. You're not able to do that on this road. There is no shoulder markings, and it's about 27 feet wide. So basically, the road is a defaulted area. Other than that, I feel that the town takes care of some sidewalks in town, and that the sidewalk that you're presenting is a town project, which the manager feels that it would improve the town. And just like the sidewalk for the school, it will be bringing people to the school or bring it to other recreational areas. Before 1960, there was a adjustment to the road. Meadow Road was curvy, and they took a curve out, but it's still curvy. And that was the last real modification to Meadow Road that has been since then. And since that point, we've had like 5 different housing areas go up off of Meadow Road. So it increases the traffic coming onto Meadow Road and going out in different directions. We had a lot of traffic from Bristol. We get a lot of traffic coming back from Hartford. And then if Route 6 is closed, Judson Lane gets traffic coming over from Judson Lane. We've had a lot of accidents. I shouldn't say a lot. We've had a few accidents taking down telephone poles and street signs on Judson Lane, even though that there is traffic calming and a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. So sidewalks didn't help there. And I'm just wondering if widening the road would also help with bike lanes on each side of the road, or at least a shoulder on each side of the road. But that's my comment. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. If there's anyone else that would like to make comment, please use the hand function in Zoom, and then we'll call upon you.
Doesn't look like anyone else, Keith.
Yep, looks like we're good. So we'll go on to the next area. Let me just pull my packet back up here. Next we do new business, and item 1 was to discuss and solicit input from the Ad Hoc Sidewalk Committee on the Meadow Road Sidewalk project.
Right. So Keith, like, as you know, we've applied and was awarded this grant for the construction of the new sidewalk. This grant will fund approximately 50% of the construction of the new sidewalk, and the town's capital budget will cover the balance. As we've discussed, we applied for this grant because of community interest and because it was determined that the proposed sidewalk would be a substantial direct benefit to the community at large. The proposed sidewalk will connect numerous neighborhoods to our town-wide rails to trail system and an elementary school. As we've talked in our committee meetings, this is the town's first grant-funded project for the construction of an entirely new sidewalk. The sidewalk will be required to comply with Chapter 169, and recently 2 abutting property owners expressed opposition to the proposed sidewalks being constructed within the right-of-way adjacent to their properties. As you know, we've talked about it, it's not required that the town seek input from abutting property owners during the planning phase, as there is a public hearing process for Chapter 169. The town proceeded with applying for this grant as we believe the project would provide a significant public benefit and that no construction cost would be assessed to those property owners. The town council may ultimately need to weigh the overall public benefit of the project against the concerns raised by adjacent homeowners. To better inform that decision, we, the staff, are considering surveying all abutting property owners to assess the level of support or opposition before initiating the public hearing process. A key question remains is if the majority of abutting property owners oppose the project, should it still move forward? So I'm kind of like, again, what we've been doing with this ad hoc committee is just trying to have like some general discussions about these topics. And I know that this ad hoc committee, they're not charged with the Meadow Road sidewalk, but we figured maybe we could get you and Brian Conley's like kind of input of just, should we do a general survey? And I listed the, abutting property owners sidewalk interest survey, and I did kind of a draft, and it's in the agenda. Just very simply, are you interested? You wouldn't have to pay for the sidewalk. You'd obviously have to maintain it. You'd have liability. And, maybe another, are you interested in it? And then doing the whole street, obviously different survey question, but also seeing if they are interested in having a sidewalk, on the street, something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple of things there, which is, as a town council member versus just being on the sidewalk committee, were this to come to me, the more information, the more input that I could see, the better. So I can't imagine a world in which we wouldn't want the survey. I mean, there's, and to get it from people who are going to be directly affected, I think, the one charge that I think, kind of hurts you when you're sitting on the day as town council is when somebody comes in for public comment and they say, we had no idea, or we were never informed, or we were never given a chance, or because it can be hard to attend the meetings or even know when the meetings are. So I think to solicit the information so that people have a chance to voice, what their, opposition or what they like about it, would be great. Obviously, in the end, based on everything we've read, we can, the decision is going to be up to them anyway.
Up to the town council.
Up to town council, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I thought when I was reading this through, after Devin sent it over, was, soliciting some of the information is kind of like a test case for our new process for getting a sidewalk. It's a totally different thing, so I don't want to like mix metaphors, if that's the right way to say it. But if somebody wanted a new sidewalk according to the process that we're putting together going forward on the sidewalk ad hoc committee, one of the processes would be talking to your neighbors, soliciting feedback, and finding out if you had, kind of a super majority of support to get a sidewalk put onto your road. In a way, that's kind of what we're doing here, is where we're looking to see, we feel as though the community at large wants it, but do we know that the immediately affected community wants it? And I also like the aspect. So I know that you had said that in the packet, it said that maybe we do one survey for people whose property was affected, and then would there be a separate survey for other residents on the street, to the other side of the street?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense too, because, do we get 100% on one side and then 100% against on the other side, or things like that? I think that's where you really have to start looking at it. In my head, the line for sort of putting a sidewalk in an area on a street was, you probably want to get to a consensus of like 75% or above, right? And so it sort of creates an opportunity for an interesting test case.
Right. Yeah, I think, again, Russ and I and Kat talked about it, and we agree. I guess the only thing that you tend to worry about is, again, about the overall public interest. And the question is that usually when you survey, you should be, rule of thumb is that if you're asking people's opinions on things, you should be taking their opinions. That's like when you do townwide surveys and things like that, and that if for some reason you don't, as a council member, you don't get 75% of the homeowners, you get 35% of the homeowners, where I think there's no question that it is a public good. Again,
But
it's not something that you don't do it.
that's the, so what you're saying is basically if we get a result and then town council rules completely against the survey, that just it is going to rebound to nobody's benefit. But I just think that the other consideration is that we are looking to know what Meadow Road thinks for sure. But in the end, town council is made up of people from first district and second district. And, oftentimes are making decisions as a second district town council person that affects the first district. And I think that it's something that the town council will have to weigh when it happens. I don't know. I think that I would still.
I agree with you. I just wanted to make sure, throw that out there, just so that have some awareness to that. But, when we've done sewer projects and we've done different things, we usually, like the benchmark is 75%. That's usually what we've done when we've done some different things. If there's 75% support of it, it usually, the council has gone that way. And, again, I think it is important that if everyone on that side of the street doesn't really want that sidewalk, I mean, that's good to know. And it's probably good to know in advance of having the public hearing. And, we've talked about a chicken and the egg here of, should we survey people first and then apply for the grant? And then we're not required to do that. But then again, does that mean we're never going to have another sidewalk again because no one ever wants it in front of their house? So you have to balance that weight out. And so that's what, again, we're trying to do with this committee and with this.
Yeah, there's a few outcomes too. We could get a survey back that says that there's only a couple of homeowners that are really opposed, and there could be a lot of, it really, we don't know. There's obviously nobody likes I think at the abstract, nobody really likes the idea of their property being left to their own devices. But I know, again, I can only talk anecdotally, and I know on my road, if the same survey was had, I can think of 3 or 4 neighbors that would be strongly opposed, and I can think of another 3 or 4 that would be strongly in favor, and that's on both sides of the street. So I think that we could find out that we really could find out that we're getting a lot of support for it too. And I kind of think of if the end decision is going to be a town council decision anyway, I just think getting more information is better. And and also, if it's something that the council feels strongly about doing in the face of some opposition on the survey, maybe the survey gives us some opportunities to make it work better for people that don't like the idea.
Right. Like I said, yeah.
I would never speak for Brian or anybody else on council, but I would be really shocked if he didn't like the idea of the survey. I haven't had a chance to speak with him about this one, but in his absence, I would be really surprised if he wasn't up for it.
Russ or Kat, did I miss anything?
No.
No. Okay. Like I said, I think it's a good idea to gauge some interest and very simple kind of survey and see where it comes out, and we go from there. I mean, it is, like you said, it's different because you're not assessing property owners, you're not doing that, but you are having them do the maintenance of it and that type of thing. So there is and liability and that, but hopefully there's support for it, because I think it would be nice to have that sidewalk. It attaches to neighborhoods and things like that.
I think it would be too. And I just, again, I like the idea of going the extra step so that people have the opportunity to feel heard. So I think if nothing else, it erases that part of the feedback that could come.
Okay. All right.
All right. So then go on to
yeah.
number 2, which I will make should I make a motion second and be all in favor of changing the the next meeting to the 20th?
Yeah, if you could just, I think we're changing it from the 20th to reschedule the August 28th. Just
sure. I will make the motion to reschedule the August 26th meeting to August 28th at 5 p.m. Town Council Chambers.
Great. All right, we'll put that on the website and change that up.
Cool.
All right. All right, I think that was it, Keith.
That's it.
Appreciate your time. We just wanted to just get some input about this and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right,
Yeah.
Thanks.
bye.